Just wanted to kind of touch on your kind of process through, growing up and,
Yeah.
where it's got you now. We kind of touch on all those areas along the way, but yeah, just giving some insight to maybe the younger generation. I mean, you've got a younger brother, so stuff that, you hope that he learns from your path and um, kind of show these guys what it's really about and not what maybe they see on social media all the time. That's, majority BS, but it's but stuff that can actually help them and then, do it the right way and focusing on development and emphasizing that as opposed to just trying to get a scholarship all the time or get recruited,
Yeah.
So I mean, kind of take us through like your path to get to Illinois State. Like I was fortunate enough to coach you there. But you were a multi-sport guy. You obviously did a lot of the development piece leading up. You were I would call like a later signee that was, I guess, typical back then. So yeah, take us through your little journey.
Yeah. So go back to, early high school. I was playing, like you said, two sports, football and baseball. I wasn't gonna just like obviously I knew I wanted to play baseball in college. But I wasn't just going to not I was throwing my eggs in the one basket for to play in college, but I wanted to still be athletic and move and play more than one sport because I just had a lot of fun doing it. So I didn't just focus on baseball. But with that opportunity being there, most of my time outside of the 2.5, 3 months that were dedicated to football was all about baseball. And so pretty much like going back, I mean, when I was a freshman, I was undersized. I was still undersized when I got to college, I'd say, but like you come to be a little bit more physical when you get to school and whatnot. But like those were when I was younger, those are the years that I had to learn like, all right, I gotta hit the weight room super hard. Like I am smaller, so I gotta be faster than dudes. Like I needed to find ways to stand out a little bit more than maybe the kid that was already 6'1", 6'2", in high school. And so just kind of going through like I didn't get looks how kids get looks in their freshman, their sophomore year. It just didn't happen. I played on a travel team that we didn't like go all over the country, but we had some good dudes on our team. Like we had a lot of talent on one team that ended up a lot of kids going to mid-major schools and whatnot, which was cool because then there was opportunities for coaches to come and see us. Um, but just like showing up, doing the little things, playing in like those tournaments. I say you get to like going through your sophomore year when the junior year signing and like recruiting can actually start to happen on the phone. Just being like super present at those tournaments and like trying to play to impress somebody, not just like playing because I just like enjoy playing baseball. Like you're still playing because you just enjoy playing baseball, but you're not out there putting on a show because you want to look cool. You're out there trying to put on a show because you want to go to a school that wants you. Um, and so really just like my process with getting to Illinois State was, I just happened to be playing in Chicago and had just one pretty good day, I guess. And I was playing well like that summer, but just I mean had a game where it happened to stand out to coach um, enough, and it was interesting because I think Steve was actually the one that was at that game, which I
Mhm.
feel like is not pretty typical for that
Yeah.
to happen with a head coach recruiting like that. But and then after that, the it gets handed off to recruiting directors and assistant coaches most of the time. And a lot of the conversations that I was having was I was realizing that it was going to be an opportunity to play Division I baseball, which is everything that I wanted out of high school. I wanted to go play at a Division I school, but not only like when I say play, like I actually wanted a chance to be able to play. I didn't want to go to a school that I was going to get, looked over and I'm just another dude. And by the end of the fall, they could cut me. Like I still wanted an opportunity to go play. And that even with that being said, that's not just guaranteed given to you. Like when you get to school, like you got to work. There's dudes all over the country. And so when also like, I will say I was a little bit of like the dumber kid that was like, oh, I want to know which school has the most gear. I want to know who gets to play in the sexiest conference and who gets to play in front of the most fans and the coolest conference, and whose non-conference schedule is coolest. Like, who do we get to
Mhm.
play? Now I will say, like, it was ISU, we had a lot of that stuff, right? Like, we had the cool stuff. We had a sweet stadium. Like, we got to go do things like that a lot of teams don't get to do. But I also was lucky enough to choose a school where, I the dudes that were around me were really good dudes.
Yeah.
When you're going through the recruiting process, you can kind of see, like, they'll talk about culture, and you can kind of see who's selling that and who's actually got that. Um, and I would just say, like, sometimes it might not even be like the school, like it might not be the team culture, but it might be like, no, we got good dudes here. And
Yeah.
like, I was lucky enough to, those are going to be your best friends, and I found my best friends at ISU.
Friends for
And
life, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
still
No, I
talk
think
every day.
rewinding a little bit, I think what you were alluding to on your personal side, like you weren't the biggest dude. You were one of the fastest, if not the fastest and quickest, but that was something that you had to focus on, right? To give yourself a chance to play, just not be on the team, but make an impact when you got there. And I think your roles always started as how can we get them in, on the base paths. All right, we might pinch run you. Then it was like, how can we get this dude to bunt? And it was like, all right, we're just going to keep doing it. You're going to keep fouling it off to third, down by me in the box. And then it was like, okay, he's getting him fair. Now he's getting himself on base. We're not having to pinch run him. And then it was like, how can we get this guy to defend? And obviously we had like a gold glove center fielder, but I remember throwing you, I think we threw you in left. It was at Evansville, and you
Yeah,
made just a miraculous catch. And it was like, there's our next center fielder. So it was, but your speed and something that you worked on, I would almost equate it to like a pitcher, like you said, growing up. Maybe they're not chucking 95, but they're getting outs at 80. Well, when that maturity does catch up, like you said, when you get to college, you get stronger, you get older, you get more mature, your body starts changing. Well, now he's running up there 87, 88, 90, 91. Well, he's already known how to get outs. Like you already know how to play with those guys. Once your strength caught up and your back caught up, you were able to really make a difference on both sides of the ball. So I think, like you said, understanding kind of who you are and working hard and finding where you fit and your skill set fits um, early on. And then I would say, kind of on the recruiting piece, making an impression, right? You don't want to fake it. You don't want to just have this false, you know, oh, when they're here, I'll do all the right things and I'll, hustle out to my position. But like you are conscious that they're there. Like
yeah,
you knew that when the coaches were there watching you, didn't change who you were, but you were aware of it. So I think it's maybe the times they're not there practicing doing the little things right to where when they do show up, you're not really changing. You're just continuing to make that impression on them of who you are. So
yeah,
and that's something I instilled in my boys, and they do a pretty good job of it. Is you're the first one on the field. I don't care if you get out, like you get out there. If you popped up, like it helps get aggression.
hmm
It lets it get it out, and then you can focus on defense or vice versa. But and you were always one of those guys that loved running, so sprinting for you wasn't that big a deal. I hated it. So I might have took my time a little bit too much, but yeah, that's just kind of wanted to touch on those 2 points. I think that's where you were going with it.
yeah.
So
Yeah, no, that's really good. I always felt like, if I could do those things all the time, and so when coaches did show up, like, that doesn't freak you out in the moment. Um, there's a lot of guys that are really talented that they're not practicing at a high level all the time, or they're not competing at a high level all the time. So when they do try to turn it on, like, they might they don't play as well, or and it's not always that's not always the case. Some guys just, you struggle when someone shows up, and it is what it sucks, but that's kind of just how it goes. But I feel like if you can practice at a high level and compete at a high level all the time, it's just another kind of, like you're just competing again. And you just go back to what your habits are. And I feel like you can show your true self, kind of like what you said. So
Yeah. Well, take me through your last year. Obviously you were a guy that played quite a bit, challenged yourself for your last year, went home, right? You got Sparty and got your degree and got to experience the Big Ten. How was that last year for you with those guys and kind of talk about that a little bit?
yeah. One thing that I'll say that was to start off is like my time, the transfer portal is not always a great thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to lead with that, and but I'm not saying that because I didn't enjoy my time at Michigan State. I loved my time at Michigan State because it was Michigan State, though. I grew up in Michigan, like you said, and I was a diehard like state fan. My whole family was. And so it was easy for me to get excited to go play for like the university. Like it felt like it meant something every time that I stepped on the field, which I feel like is pretty rare now, but
Yeah.
like it really meant something to me. So like I could get excited for, a midweek, a weekend series that felt like, we're on week 14. Like this just feels like it's a drag at this point. Like I could still get excited for that. But it's not always like the greatest thing in the world. You're not always going to find a great situation. And so like you kind of know that you might not know that going into it, but you kind of learn that. Um, but yeah, I had a great opportunity to get to go play in the Big Ten, and I wanted to give myself just an opportunity to go to say a bigger school. Not even in the sense of, I would say that the two schools are very comparable in their competition level,
Hmm.
but um, the opportunity to play against some of those bigger schools was super cool, and just to experience that um, was something that I will definitely not forget. But then again, it was like I thought I would step in as a senior and just be like, all right, this is my thing. Like I'm good. I'm an older dude. Like you still had to go in and you got to earn respect. So like I naturally, guys respect me a little bit more because I'm an older dude. I had played for pretty much 3 years straight uh,
Hmm.
before that. And so like it was not, I wouldn't say it was hard, but like you almost are like the new guy. You are the new guy again, but you almost feel like that freshman new guy again. Um, and then you kind of I found my role a little bit, probably middle to the late of the fall. I kind of knew I was going to be the center fielder, but, trying to find that, the group of friends again, like that's something like you don't think about, outside of ball. Cause like that's that. I mean, I would say half of playing baseball is like being with those dudes and
Hmm.
getting along because that'll like that. I mean, you got to have talent on the field, but that'll take you to another level. I feel like when you know those dudes, you know what someone's going to do. You can kind of like feel each other out while you're playing as well. And so like just learning all those things, it's a challenge to go to a new school, especially for 1 year. Uh,
Yep.
but I loved it. It was a challenge. And, I got the opportunity I had a lot of goals and dreams when I was a younger kid. And one of those was to get to play in Omaha. And it didn't come in the way that I thought it was going to come and playing the CWS. But it happened to come through playing in the Big Ten tourney.
Yep.
And so, I mean, it wasn't the sexiest season as a team, but, it was something that I wanted to do my whole life, and I got to do it. My family got to be there and watch it happen, and so like that's just like there's a lot of really cool things. Get the opportunity to play at Michigan State that it might not look like on paper, and um, when you look at it as okay, well, you didn't win 35 games, but like there was a lot of really cool things that were a little bit deeper playing at Michigan State than just on what people see on the surface level.
Yeah, and like you said, you had a good experience, but you still kind of understood like it might not be greener on the other side, right? Like I think with my guys, I try to get them to a place where they never have to hit the portal. Now, I'd be naive if I actually thought that was going to be the case for everyone, but that should be the goal is getting somewhere where you've got the culture's kind of established and you can see that. Now you really don't know till you get there. The academics matches, it's financially feasible for your family. If all those boxes are checked and there's no reason to leave. Now coaches change and all that stuff. Like there are variables, but yeah, finding that home that you don't want to or have to leave unless something happens, because I think you see a lot of guys that, like you said, try to jump ship and they don't play. It's not as easy to fit in right away. You got to do a whole nother batch of friends, and there's new leaders, there's new leadership styles. Maybe it's not a fit like you thought it was going to be. So I don't think that everything is greener all the time just because the logo's better, or for you, I'm glad it worked out. And then we'll kind of get to the next piece, but obviously that's kind of spun into something pretty cool, right? Uh, the banana ball. So take me through kind of how that came about. Obviously, I know your personality, your athleticism, you're flipping around and dancing and all that. I see all the Instagram reels and all that stuff, but it doesn't surprise me. I think it's cool, but how did that come about with the Savannah Bananas and that whole process?
Yeah. So I would say like we were driving back from our Big Ten tourney. I don't know what that is, May like 25th or something, or 22nd, something like that. I don't even know. Whenever we lost, and guys on the bus, you're having a good time. Like it's not rowdy, but you're enjoying your last little bit with each other.
Yep.
And one of the guys was like, "Sock, dude, what are you gonna do now?" And I was like, "Bro, like I don't know, dog. Like I have no clue. Like, come on." My thought process was pretty much up until like baseball. I was just
Yep.
ready to keep playing. And somebody was like, "Dude, you got to do the bananas." Like people have been saying it since like March. Like you got to do bananas, man. And I was like, I might as well just do this. And so I feel like I'm kind of a guy that if I am gonna do something, like I'm gonna go all in and do it. And so really like June 1st hit. I went home for like probably a couple days and just hung out with family, wrapped up, moved out of my place and got settled down. And then June 1st hit and it was like, all right, if I'm gonna do this, well, I got to get their attention first. So how do I get
Mhm.
that? I got to make a sick video to start off by saying like that I want to do it. And then after that, like I got to post all the time on my socials, which is such a different thing because like
Yeah.
I I was a person that something gets tweeted about me, I'm not gonna retweet it or repost it or like I just didn't like
The
that attention.
self-promotion type
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And so and then it turned into that is what it is. Like you
Yeah.
are promoting yourself that you are a dude. And so kind of just going through like the whole summer. I felt like I turned into a full-time gymnast on top of a baseball player, which was fun and dangerous all in one. But it was a good time. And then really just like by once I had gotten like the okay after about I don't know, I'd say it took like 3 days for them to see it. Once I got the okay that I would be like invited to a workout
Mhm.
because you submit a player application, it's like submission, and they got 3,500 applicant submissions this year, and they
Yeah.
300 people do a workout. So, like, it was not. I didn't think like looking back, I wouldn't say it was very difficult to get that workout, especially if like okay, I had experience playing baseball.
Yeah.
I am active on socials like that. That wasn't too difficult, but then like going to the workout, I went down there. I went to Savannah October 11th, worked out the 12th, stayed the 13th, and the tryout day was something that nothing could have prepped me for. Long and exhausting, and dancing is your warm up, and um, the indie defense is not indie D. It's who can do the most trick plays, and BP was I mean, the regular BP, I guess, but like you're prepping for to play a banana game, so then that's out of the ordinary as all get out. But I think like to be completely honest, that day was the first time on a baseball field in a long time that I felt like, man, I can really, really be myself. It felt
Yeah.
like the freedom of playing free safety in football
Yeah.
on a baseball field. And that's not for everybody. That's not for some people are like, nope, I'm gonna stick to ball, and it's good because a lot of people are really good at baseball and should do that. But for me, I was able to show like my personality a little bit more and kind of just enjoy it and have a bunch of fun with it. So
Oh, for sure. Now, are you training more in the like gymnasium doing flips and stuff, or are you still training like a baseball guy hitting BP? You're
Yeah.
obviously I saw your sprint work the other day down in Florida.
Yeah.
You
So
posted.
I mean, I still train like if I was going back right now, we if I was going to start to go back to ISU, I'm still training like a full baseball player,
Hitting, throwing, all that.
hitting, throwing, everything the same, lifts, sprint work. Now, obviously, since I am like, it's funny that you said earlier, like, how can we get him on the base pass, like as a start? Because it's like, that's literally like that's me now. Like, I'm a designated runner with a little bit of opportunity to, play like the outfield and whatnot, like
Mhm.
zero guaranteed. Like, and I know that going into it.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, so I really like a lot of my focus goes to like my speed and my sprint work. But yeah, I still get to, I still train as baseball. And then
I
outside.
was somewhat joking that you were not training like baseball, but
Oh,
I
no, no,
knew
no. Yeah,
you
no,
were
it's,
running though.
yeah.
So
And
or is your role to, obviously the designated runner, do you get to be in more like dances and all that stuff since you're maybe not on the field or
yeah. So,
some of the skits?
yeah, with the entertainment role, like as an entertainer, I definitely will get to spend a little bit more time, messing around, hanging out with the fans, being in some of those videos. I'm sure,
Yeah.
which will be pretty cool. So I don't know. I think I've grown to love a little bit of that showmanship, and that acting role, which is so funny because never would I have thought that I would enjoy that stuff, but it's been fun.
No, that's great, man. Well, I'll get down there and see it. It's not too far from me. I know you guys get on a little tour. I know a couple of the guys that are involved, I think in the coaching side of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess we'll just kind of end it like give some advice to little bro, give some advice to the younger generation out there that are maybe looking to play college sports, not necessarily baseball, but um because it is the world has changed. The college athletics landscape is not the same. Even when played in it way
Yeah.
back when I played, it's changed a lot. But yeah, give them kind of your 2 cents or a couple things.
Yeah. I would say first of all, like as much as it sounds boring, you got to get good grades. Like you got to start in the classroom. Um, One because it's going to give you much greater opportunity to get a scholarship that way, on top of an athletic one. But as also like coaches got to be able to trust that you're going to be a good student, not only through high school but once you get to college. So that way, that they don't have to worry about you outside of baseball. They got enough to worry about with you or whatever sport you're playing in the sport that you're playing. They don't need to worry about the academic side on top of it. So just being someone they can trust and being accountable and whatnot in that area. But in terms of, trying to go play at the next level and whatnot, like have a goal, and don't really, I mean, you got to be so uberly confident. I don't even know if that's the right word to use, but you got to be so overly confident that you're going to do it, and kind of put a lot of time and whatever that looks like and it takes to get there, and just be like so in on that what that goal is, that you can kind of feel like nothing's really going to get in your way. And the hard thing is now with so many guys, and I feel like the sport in college sports have gotten so much older now, in terms of like who's playing, I guess. So maybe your path does look a little different. Maybe it does look like going to a junior college. I quite honestly, I don't think I got lucky enough to have a really good opportunity that I stepped into and was able to play, but I don't think that there's anything wrong, no matter what sport you're playing, going to a junior college and actually playing, giving yourself an unbelievable opportunity to probably reach schools that you weren't going to talk to out of high school anyways. And it also doesn't have to be Division 1 or bust. I think a lot of guys, including myself, but uh, when I was younger,
Yeah,
like
buddy.
I was just always like, I'm gonna play Division 1 sport. Like it, maybe you're a D2 guy. There's a lot of really, really talented Division 2 dudes. There's also a lot of dudes that get popped out of Division 2 to play professional sports. Um, so not just like setting your eyes on like one school or one one division, but giving yourself like a bunch of opportunity to, be open and be able to go play somewhere and really showcase what you could do because you're going to mature a lot once you get to college, not just in high school.
Yeah, I think the importance of playing, like you alluded to way earlier, was not just being on the team, but having a chance to play. Well, the landscape's changed so much that, and it's not as easy just to step into a JUCO or a D2, D3, NAI and just play. Like their levels have gotten a lot better too. Um, but that might be the route for you to get on the field, or have a better chance to. And I think the other part I heard was, work hard and you get that confidence through preparation and hard work. And so when you get there, you got a chance to kind of fall back on that, and taking care of your grades and all that goes into it. Because as a coach, we can trust you. These guys are going crazy. But yeah, man, I appreciate it. I need to check out the schedule and see when I can get down there